Welcome to this episode of Beta Canon Founder Training. I'm Dom Ramirez. I'm a software developer, designer, and entrepreneur in Boise, Idaho. When it comes to deciding what features your app will have, the sky is the limit. It's like almost anything you can imagine can be done. And if you've seen it in any other app, it's definitely possible to do that thing in your own app, right? Well, you have to start somewhere. And your starting point has to match your budget and timeline, no matter how big or small that budget seems. So today, we're going to answer the question, how can I design my app to cost less? This is a big question, and it's one which can ultimately decide whether your company will even survive long enough to launch. My opinion is that it's worth considering at every single turn on every major or minor feature. Regardless of who develops your app, they have to know all the tiny little details about it. They aren't likely to develop more than you ask for, even if unspoken features seem obvious. Like, if you tell a developer that you want your app to have a table showing Ken Griffey Jr.'s batting average over time, you're going to get a simple 2-column list where dates are on one column and batting averages are in the other. Your developer probably won't assume that table to include resorting the data, grouping by season versus decade, showing which team Ken was on, or filtering the data to exclude off-season games. And that's a good thing. Each of those features will cost as much as the list itself cost. So if all you wanted was a simple list, you could end up spending 5 times as much as you expected just because the developer wants to make the list extra good. This is one of the many reasons why you should always have a specific design before anyone starts coding your app. Wireframes, a written specification, user stories, page-by-page mockups, any or all of these can be helpful. You and your developers should be very much in sync about exactly what the user should be seeing from page to page and state to state. That usually means that you hire a designer before you commit to a scope with the developer. Sometimes I see clients approach freelance developers, expecting those people to do the functional design, the user experience, the visual design, sometimes even a logo, in addition to developing the app. But it's pretty rare that good developers also happen to be good designers. As a side note, I should say, I consider myself to be an exception to that. I've done a lot of strong design work in addition to being a capable developer, but I don't count on hiring people who have that combination of skills, and you shouldn't necessarily expect it either. On top of making sure that you and your developer have the same vision for what the app will look like and how it will work, you also need to trim down your scope in order to make the project feasible. Statistically speaking, the bigger the scope of the project, the more likely it is that the project will fail, and they can fail all the way. Not only that, but what I see happening the most often is even when big projects succeed, the users don't even value most of the bells and whistles that made the project big in the first place. They usually start asking for changes in user experience or counterintuitive features that were never even considered. Any tiny little detail that you can live without, you should try to live without that thing for at least the first version. Then you should launch your app and figure out what users really want to see. You can always pay to add more features, but you can never get money back for features that you didn't need. Especially not if those features threaten to make your whole project a failure. If you want to talk with a Beta Canon Pro about how we would work with you to include only the most critical features into your app's first version, check out betacanon.com. If you have thoughts or feelings about this video, feel free to leave a message in the comments or send me an email at dom@betacanon.com.